This one T makes sense until the moment you need it, and maybe that moment is now. How can a revolutionary studio, thriving on innovation and creative disruption, hold a conversation with an ancient figure like Socrates? What kind of philosophy could arise when the restless spirit of a pioneering company meets the relentless questioning of the Athenian philosopher? If you're here, something in you is already shifting. Perhaps you're curious, or maybe a bit restless, sensing that the way you approach ideas, creativity, or even your own thinking could be more profound. I want to tell you what to do. I'll help you see what is already happening inside you and within the revolutionary studios that choose to engage with philosophy in ways that shake up convention. Philosophy, in its oldest sense, means love of wisdom. But this love is not passive. Socrates modeled an active, engaged approach, an endless questioning, a gentle but sharp interrogation of beliefs, assumptions, and even the self. Revolutionary studios often seem worlds away from this ancient practice. They pulse with screens, deadlines, and the chaos of making something new. Yet in their own way, they live Socratic philosophy every day. The irony here is unsettling. Many might assume that creativity is about ideas flowing freely, unbounded by skepticism or critique. But what if true innovation depends on questioning what you think you know? What if revolutionary creation is not the birth of answers, but the courage to hold open the gaps of uncertainty? Think about that for a moment. When was the last time you deeply questioned one of your truths without defensiveness? When have you welcomed discomfort as a sign of growth rather than threat? Socrates insisted that wisdom begins with recognizing one's ignorance. Revolutionary studios, in their constant pivots and rewrites, might just be practicing that wisdom, embracing not knowing as a fuel rather than a fear. What if the problem is not that studios resist philosophy, but that we misunderstand it as a static system of doctrines? Socrates did not offer answers to neatly fit on a motivational poster. His method was dialectic, dialogue that uncovers contradictions and deeper understanding. This contrasts sharply with how many think of philosophy today as something abstract, dusty, or dogmatic. Now, imagine a studio where every meeting, every brainstorming session becomes a Socratic dialogue, not in a formal sense, but as a way of listening attentively and questioning assumptions. What beliefs about your project are unspoken? What fears sneak into your creative decisions? What if you asked why? Not to win an argument, but to unravel layered truths? How would your work change if uncertainty wasn't a source of anxiety, but a horizon for exploration? Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." For revolutionary studios, this could translate as, "The unexamined project is not worth creating." When you interrogate your ideas continuously, when you doubt your certainties, you transform creation into a journey of discovery rather than mere production. Consider for a moment the mentor-student relationship between Socrates and his companions. The master didn't hand down wisdom like a finished product. He provoked questions that forced his students to rethink, to find wisdom within themselves. Revolutionary studios embody this by valuing collaboration, feedback, and iteration. The creator is not a solitary genius, but a facilitator of dialogue between ideas, technologies, and people. What if the real revolution is in how studios approach knowledge, not just in the flashy output? They reject fixed narratives, embracing complexity and contradiction. They turn creativity into a practice of inquiry, where failure is a step toward clearer questions rather than a sign of defeat. This mirrors Socratic irony, knowing that what you say might be false, but using that uncertainty as a tool to climb higher. Reflect on your own internal dialogue. How often do you challenge your assumptions? When you get stuck in a problem, do you circle around the same old explanations? Or do you dare to ask deeper why and what if questions? Revolutionary studios show us that the latter approach leads not only to better products but to a richer understanding of ourselves as thinkers and makers. Interestingly, Socratic questioning crops up in unexpected corners of studio cultures, from design thinking workshops to agile development sprints. The practice mirrors the philosopher's approach, fragmenting big problems into manageable questions, testing assumptions, and engaging others in collective inquiry. This philosophical backbone often remains invisible but is vital to the innovation ethos. What if your emotional resistance to questioning your impatience or fear reflects a deeper desire to avoid uncertainty? Revolutionary studios teach us that embracing uncertainty is not weakness, but a creative strength. When you welcome not knowing, you make space for new insights. This is the alchemy of transformation, both personal and professional. There is a poetic symmetry here. Socrates challenged the fixed ideas of his time and paid with exile. Revolutionary studios challenge outdated norms and risk financial failure or misunderstanding. Both stand as witnesses to the power of questioning and shaking systems that no longer serve growth or truth. Ask yourself, then, who benefits from you settling into comfortable beliefs? Who loses when you question? Can you trust that dissonance is not a curse, but a signal pointing toward a richer truth? Revolutionary studios answer this by making the unknown a playground rather than a prison. I invite you to consider, what might your life look like if you adopted a Socratic sensibility in your own creative or personal challenges? Not as a formula, but as an attitude that honors curiosity, vulnerability, and the courage to say, I do not know. This isn't just philosophy. It's a way to live and create that feels profoundly freeing. When studios embrace philosophy this way, remarkable things happen. Projects become explorations, not just deliverables. Teams become communities of inquiry, not just workers. Failure becomes feedback, not tragedy. The act of creation transforms into a dance with the unknown. A beautiful tension held between certainty and doubt. So next time you face a dead end or feel trapped in repetitive thoughts, remember that revolutionary studios don't look for quick fixes. They ask better questions. They become Socrates in their willingness to unravel the comfortable stories and invite new meanings. What if your next idea, your next breakthrough, begins not with knowing but with asking? What if the real revolution starts inside, where your thoughts meet the courage to question them? SFX, gentle_and_chime. 3. This conversation between ancient wisdom and modern innovation isn't just theoretical. It's a practical guide for how to move forward when the path feels unclear. It's an invitation to walk with uncertainty, to treat problems as puzzles rather than obstacles, and to see creativity as a dialogue, not a monologue. Remember that the revolutionary studio and Socrates share a common heartbeat, an unyielding commitment to inquiry, an embrace of humility, and a love for the possibility that every question reveals a new horizon. If you're watching this, maybe you're ready to turn your inner world into a revolutionary studio of questioning and creation. That's not easy, but it's alive. It's calling you to walk into the unknown with eyes wide open. And who knows? The next question you ask might be the spark that changes everything. What will you question today? SFX, distant_echoing.